touch the skies. Cheltenham town and Forest Green, Gloucester City stands so keen. Tall rock of the county, loud and clear.
Good morning. I am your host, Daniel Hopkins, and welcome to another episode of Talk of the County Podcast, brought to you by Traffic Safety Management Ltd, experts in traffic management, local depot in Gloucester, but support projects around the UK. TSM keeps the road moving safely, day and night, offering local operatives a great career prospect in a socially driven company that generally looks after its people in the communities they serve. To find out more, visit www.tsmltd.co.uk. We're one short at the moment this morning, but we've got Chris Howes, the Cheltenham Town panellist. Good morning, Chris.
Morning, boys.
And we've got Dave Jones, and as I always say, other people know him as Dave Angel of Gloucester City. Good morning, Dave.
Good morning, gentlemen.
Sean will be with us shortly. He's got a valid excuse this week. Usually he hasn't got one. Dave's not being so soft, but Sean were night last night.
Funny.
Got in at 6 o'clock, but it might be because Forest Greens took a thumping. But we'll find out later.
Poor excuse, if you ask me.
Yeah. So we'll jump straight into it, and we're going to go to Around the Grounds with Chris Howes.
We are going to talk of the counties around the grounds by Chris Howes.
Yeah, cheers, Dan. Let's go around the grounds. Brought to you by BAM Recruitment. They find better matches than most managers in a January transfer window. Whether it's temporary or permanent, they put the right people in the right places. Engineering, construction, operational, no VAR needed. Check them out below. First up, the ladies. Cheltenham Town were away at Oxford United in the league, where they lost 2-0. No game for Cheltenham today. They return to action next Sunday away at Lewes. Forest Green's game against Pucklechurch last week was postponed. They also have no game this week and are away at Bishop's Lydiard next Sunday. Gloucester City were away at Frampton Rangers last week, where goals from Lucabella Davis, Cassidy Gray, Maggie Neal, and 2 for Sashi Kaneko Grun and Georgia Van Dries sealed a huge 7-0 win. Gloucester are in League Cup action later today, away at Bishop's Lydiard. Moving to the Southern League Division 1 South, Hartpury have had a good week with 2 2-0 wins. First on Tuesday at home to Didcot Town, then yesterday away at Shaftesbury. Bishop's Cleeve didn't play in midweek and played out a 0-0 draw away at Melksham yesterday. No midweek game for either team this week. On Saturday, Cleeve welcome Bashley, while Hartpury host Mousehole. Hellenic Premier Division clubs saw no midweek games. Yesterday, Tuffley beat Corsham 3-2 at home. Lydney lost 3-0 away at Royal Wootton Bassett. Cinderford also away, won 3-2 at Mangotsfield. Slimbridge were away at bottom team Hallen in a 4-0 shock defeat, and Cirencester lost 2-0 at home to Pershore. Fairford's game at home to Hereford Pegasus was postponed. Next week sees one midweek game, and it's a Cut County derby between Cinderford and Cheltenham Saracens. Next Saturday, Cinderford are at home to Royal Wootton Bassett, Cirencester away at Corsham, Lydney travel to Droitwich Spa, and Slimbridge are away at Pershore. Also away are Fairford, who visit Roman Glass St George, and finally, the Long Levens host Mangotsfield. That's it from around the grounds. Back over to you, Dan.
Cheers, Chris, and breathe.
Yeah.
There's a lot to read out then. But before we get on to yesterday's game, Chris, unfortunately, it's been quite a busy week. So we'll start with Cheltenham Town. It's been quite a busy week in terms of players in, players out. Let's start with what I missed the week before. Liam Kinsella. We didn't really touch on him last week, but he's gone to Ensford on a 2.5-year deal. What was your thoughts on that one?
Great servant to the club. Unfortunately, he's not going to play football or a lot of football here. So it's the right move for him. It's the right move for us. And I wish him all the best. He's been a fantastic servant to the club.
He has, yeah, I absolutely agree. Absolute workhorse. Some say that his ability on the ball is not quite as good, and that's maybe why Cots let him go. But if he was going to war, Chris, that's a player you want to take with you, isn't it?
100%, mate. His work off the ball and in the tackle is incredible. Unfortunately for him, Ben Stevenson is just better, and he's not going to play. So it's one of them. You are right. He's not a creative player. He's a disruptor, and one that will just lay it off to one of the more creative players. But no, all thanks to Kins, because he's been a great servant to the club, and he always put everything in, and you could tell that he always worked at his absolute socks off.
Yeah. I think it surprised a few people of him dropping down to equivalent to Gloucester City, Dave, obviously Northern Premier. But Ensford, as you'll probably know, Dave, being around Gloucester's level, they've got a lot of money pumped into him, haven't they?
Yeah, they've got, I mean, you see their setup, it's pretty incredible. It was over on TV, weren't they, in a recent game, and they were like electrics moving scoreboards around the outsides, and I think they're probably paying wages a level or two above where they actually are. So yeah, it's probably a good move for him.
Yeah, I obviously it was mentioned that even though at 29 he's 30 this year, but I think it was also mentioned that Liam's got a business opportunity. I think he's studying to become an accountant for after football, so he's probably looked at that, thought closer to home. 2.5-year deal, still probably getting paid very good money, and then he's obviously, I assume in probably 2.5 years' time he's ready to go into the career he wants to go into. So all good luck to him. One of my favourite players in terms of work rate. Another one of my favourite players, Chris, and I say favourite players, I think he's up there in the top 2-3 of my favourite all-time Cheltenham players. Harry Powell retires, 500 pro appearances, 56 goals. Started off at Cheltenham, ended his career at Charlton, ended his career at Bath. He played 121 games for Cheltenham and scored 19 goals. Absolute legend, isn't he?
Yeah, absolutely. Another one who's an absolute workhorse. He was so passionate, and it is such a shame the second spell didn't work out. And I think it's probably because of the injury that he picked up. He's a top bloke and a top player, and we again wish him all the best, and wish him luck in his future endeavours.
Yeah. If you had to go into a favourite moment for Harry Powell, what would it be for Cheltenham?
Christ, there's been a lot, mate. Probably, I don't know. I can't give you one. I can't give you one. Probably, I'll tell you what. Probably the most memorable was that free kick that went blazing about 15 miles over the bar after
that was him who took that
39 players ran over it.
18 stepovers and then put it into orbit.
That's probably the most memorable, but that's a negative. But
probably the most viewed on YouTube, I should imagine.
Yeah, definitely. He had a lot of good moments for us, he was in the dressing room. He was a massive presence that you can tell has been missed since he's left. I wish him all the best, and he's a top guy.
Yeah, mine would have to be the goal at Forest Green in the Championship season when we was going head to head with him.
I completely forgot about that one.
Chapman's ball.
Yeah,
playing on the byline, puts it over the top, his touch, and he just crests it into the corner.
Yeah.
Like 11 and
little bring down, and then it kind of flicked it with the outside of his boot, didn't he?
Yeah. I said at the time, I said if I was in the Premier League, they'd be talking about what, the pass, the move, the finish. And the fact that then when Forest Green used to put the fans behind the goal, there was 1,100 Cheltenham fans packed in behind there, and it went absolutely mad. So that was my favourite moment. He is generally a top guy, gives people the time of the day. You've only got to see all the clubs he's played for this week have come out, and they've all been positive. All the fans, even the fans who moan when somebody's injured, have all come out and actually said, one of their favourite players. And he is. I have actually spoken to him, and he's promised me that he will sort out a day for him to come on the pod. So that'd be a good one, Chris, to get him.
Yeah, I'd really enjoy that.
pick his career apart. So good luck, Harry. And hope to see you on the terraces of Whaddon Road sometime soon. Then also this week, we had a new signing, Josh Davison. Mixed views on the lad, 212 appearances, 56 goals, alone into the end of the season. What do you think about that signing, Chris?
I mean, he's the profile that we kind of need. We need a bigger target man, if you will. So he ticks those boxes. His record isn't great in recent times, but he is a workhorse. He is a Steve Cottrell player. Steve likes players that work really hard, and Josh Davison certainly does that. We just hope that we can get him back to the kind of form and quality that he has shown before, because he has been, he scored a lot of goals, just not recently.
I think his career total works out around about 2.5, a goal every 2.5 games, which
that's not a horrendous record, is it, Dan? Let's be honest.
No, it's not, Chris. And you're spot on. We want that sort of. When we get on to talk about him in a moment about yesterday's game, but we want that big centre forward who's strong, who would mix it up with the centre halves, and so again, Sean had him at Forest Green. I did say to Sean he was young when he was at Forest Green. Some of the Tranmere fans, well, majority of Tranmere fans, again they've been quite derogatory about him, but. I always say I don't really listen to football fans because we're all fickle. If a player, we just talked about Harry Powell there. We've talked about Alfie May in the past. They're your ones where you're like absolutely brilliant. But how many players are left in the past and we've gone not very good and then gone on to smash it elsewhere?
100%. And there are players that have left us and dropped down, and there are some players that are now playing. Well, there's a couple playing in the Premier League that played for us.
Yeah, exactly,
and the Championship.
Perfect example, Chris. Finn Azaz.
I was going to mention Finn Azaz. I didn't really rate Finn Azaz when he was with us. I thought he was average, but he's gone on and he's really kicked on in his career. And fair play to him. But that's a perfect example.
Yeah, and on to the last one was Derek Power. He's gone back to the Bohemians. It just really didn't work out for the lad, did it?
No, I mean, I feel a little bit sorry for him, but he's had Arkell in front of him, and then obviously when Tompkinson came in, it was quite clear that he wasn't going to get any football, because Tompkinson was always going to go over to the right hand side. It's unfortunate for the lad. Nice enough lad. Wish him all the best at Bohemians, and I think he'll do really well in Ireland, because he's played there before and he did really well. That's why we signed him. Hopefully he gets another shot in the EFL, and with our sell on that we've got with it, hopefully it makes us a couple of quid.
Yeah. No, I've got not too much to say about him. Like I say, he only made 18 appearances, but didn't really let the club down. But obviously Cott doesn't fancy him. He was very complimentary of the club in his interview for Bohemians. So good luck to Derek. Right, let's go on to yesterday's game, and let's.
I'd rather skip it if that's all right.
Yeah, that's why I was talking more about players, so we can skip it. Let's get our regular Pete Matthews thoughts, and this is what Pete had to say about yesterday's game.
So probably the worst performance under Steve Cottrell, I'm afraid. Cheltenham were second best for most of the game. They started slowly. How often have we seen that in recent away games? It was a terrific shot from Sean Wally, but he had an awful lot of space. See also Kieran Green last week. Cheltenham had a better spell. Jake Bickerstaff with a terrific effort. It was a wonderful save by the goalkeeper, diving to his right, almost clawing the ball out. A goal then might well have changed things, because Cheltenham were having a decent spell. But a dreadfully soft second goal just before half-time. Everybody switched off and Donald Love put it into the back corner. And from then on, Cheltenham were always chasing the game. Jordan Thomas did score a really good goal after Devon Matthews had made it 3-0. Josh Davison looked good when he came off the bench, but this wasn't Cheltenham's best day. We wait now for the transfer window. We wait for Monday. I'm sure there will be a few players coming in. I'm also sure there might be one or two more to go out. Not the best day. They're going to happen, but Cheltenham needs to get some points on the board reasonably quickly.
Yeah, that's a good analysis of the game there. How did you see the game, Chris?
With my eyes.
I knew that was coming.
On telly.
So yeah, no, it was. We didn't start. We were just poor. We were off it. We looked. I don't want to say we looked like we were at the beach, but there wasn't that effort that we're used to.
No,
Plain and simple.
No, I agree with that. I thought yesterday we were, especially in the first half, we were a yard off it. We didn't close down. We didn't win our battles. And Accrington took the game to us, and we had no answers for it. But
it was really telling for me. Accrington stopped us getting the ball to Jordan Thomas, and we created nothing.
Yeah, but this is the thing I've been talking about a lot, and I've been talking about on other podcasts as well. Is that the trouble is that when Jordan Thomas is on it, i.e. see Grimsby the week before, he absolutely ripped him a new one in the first half hour. They changed their system to nullify that. Now we've got to have a plan B when teams try to nullify our plan A. And that's the one thing I think we've got to get better at. But that may become a recruitment, Chris. That might be something.
Yeah, I think that's part of the reason why we've got Josh Davison in, because I really like Jake Bickerstaff, but he's not a forward that's going to hold the ball up particularly well.
No.
Josh Davison will hopefully give us a bit more in that area.
Was he not available yesterday?
He was on the bench. He came up.
Oh, was he?
Yeah. So obviously, as we talk about, it's eat, sleep, repeat with us, Chris. We start slowly, and if you look back to the Grimsby game, same area, same scenario. The player he gets away from the Cheltenham player, and he hits it. But again, it's a great goal, but the closing down is awful, isn't it?
Far too much space, didn't he?
Yeah, too much space. Look, there are times where I don't really mind a goal going in from quite a long way away if it's a really good goal and we have tried to stop it. The problem I have with that goal is we didn't try and stop it. And Joe Day, I thought, got a hand to it, and if he gets a hand to it, he should stop it going in the back of the net. I
looked back. I'm not disagreeing but I thought it went over him. I
thought he got a hand to it. Personally, on my view, but and if he does get a hand to it, it shouldn't go in the back of the net.
No, I
don't. From that distance, I don't care. And goalies are more than welcome to, send me a message and tell me why it should go in. But for me, if a goalie gets a hand to a shot from 25, 30 yards that isn't right in the top bin, shouldn't go in the back of the net.
No. I'll have to look at it again. I thought it went straight in, but I'll look at it again. I
could be wrong, Dan. I could be wrong. I could have imagined that they got a touch to it, but I'm sure he did.
Yeah, it was just disappointing. I looked straight after. Cottrell was going absolutely mad, as was Luke Young, and Joe Day obviously wasn't happy because again, it was if you take that snippet and put it at Wadden Road, it's exactly the same position as where Grimsby scored their first last week, and even my wife said, she was like, "Did we not learn from last week?" And obviously not. So that's 1-0, Chris. We've got an habit of starting slow. What do you think that is? What do you think it's either at the start of the game or it's at the start of the second half? We always have
mate.
Slow.
We just don't seem to start. We've got a bit of a habit of waiting until we fall behind before we start playing football.
Yeah. But after the first goal, it was not long after Bickerstaff had a good chance. Well, I'll say an excellent chance.
I don't think it was a good chance, mate. It was a half chance at best, and he did brilliantly.
Yeah. That's probably fair. That is fair. It wasn't as if he should have scored. He could have scored in the keeper. It was a brilliant save from the keeper.
It's an absolute. It's a worldie of a save, that. An absolute. He's clawed it from behind him.
Yeah.
And Bickerstaff's really unlucky. He deserved a goal yesterday because I actually thought he was really good yesterday. He was one of the players that come out with credit, and there weren't that many that did.
Yeah, he done really well. He did get an absolute rollicking from the fans at one point in the first half because the ball goes into the corner, and he was sort of like jogging to it, and we, taking the expletives out, we was like, chase it down because the ball was there to still be won. But he was looking at George Nurse. George Nurse said him and George Nurse had a few words between each other. But I agree, he did play well. He did have a good game, but he always does. But it's as you said, it's unfair the fact that he's playing as a lone striker, and that's definitely not his game.
It's not his role. He needs someone up there with him. Really, that's why the 10 works for him. When he's played in the 10, he's actually been really good. In the 2 times he's played there, that I think that is that could be his position moving forward.
Which brings me on to my next question. We make the signing of Davison. They've got Farron Rawson at centre half, who's 6'4", ex-Forest Green.
Yeah, I was going to mention this.
And why would you not start Davison up front? Why? He's been training with the club all week, so it's not as if it was, he came in on the Thursday. It was at the beginning of the week he'd been training with the club, even though we announced it. Was it Tuesday or Wednesday, maybe something like that? For me, why he didn't start.
I think personally, we don't often see new signings start in their first game. They often go on the bench. Cole Deeming is an exception. I think that's more out of necessity than anything, though. It's not uncommon, is what I'm trying to say. I'm not saying he should have started. I'm not saying he shouldn't have started. What I'm saying is it's very common that new signings at this club generally start on the bench for their first game.
Well, we'll obviously we'll get on to the second half now in a minute, but the bit what baffled me, Chris, was when he did come on, Farron Rawson looked very edgy for the last 20, 25 minutes.
It's because he had a bigger lad, Farron Rawson, and I don't mean to sound disrespectful to Jake Bickerstaff, but Farron Rawson is comfortable with a Jake Bickerstaff.
Well, he was.
He's a bit less comfortable with somebody that's going to potentially really challenge him in the air.
Yeah, I don't know whether the thinking from Cots was that, Farron Rawson is a typical League Two defender. He's bread and butter for everything in the air. But one thing one thing I find him uncomfortable with is when the balls are knocked into the channels and he's got to be pulled out.
And that was a clear tactic. Whenever we went forward, we tried to play it over the top. It just didn't work, unfortunately.
No, well, like I said, it was a poor first half, and you was thinking, let's get into half time, but they take the lead in stoppage time first half. How poor was the goal?
Very.
They just to sum it up, we had 10 players around the 6-yard box. They had 4 players,
outside the box.
3 players outside. There was one sitting more deep. And then obviously you had whoever was in the wall. So we had 11 players behind the ball, but 10 of them was in the box. Now, the ball gets rolled across to the edge of the area, and it was like slow motion. It just stood still, and the ball was in the back of your net. To sum it up, Chris.
Schoolboy stuff. There's my summation. It's schoolboy stuff.
I was watching it, and I was just watching the guy hang back, and it was just so obvious.
It's obvious, yeah.
To him. It's like I was watching it thinking he's going to just pass to him unless they're closing down, and then he did. How somebody on the pitch didn't pick him up, I just don't know.
Yes, that was schoolboy stuff. But that basically took the game away. We weren't going to come back and win.
No, I felt the game was dead. So that was the end of the first half. The thing, and I'm not going to sit here and I'm not going to berate Cottrell because he is a legend. He's what he's done since he's come in. Him, Russ Milton, Edwards, Keith Burt, all of them have done since they've come in with the recruitment, the setup. We were going down. I'd seen every game we were going down. There was no pattern of play.
We were by far and away the worst team in the league.
It was dreadful. And he's dragged us off our backside. He's got us 10 points clear. So I'm not going to sit here and berate him. But one thing that did surprise me, and we'll get on to his thoughts after, because this goes hand in hand. There was no subs at halftime, Chris, and it took him to the 60th minute to make a sub after we went 3-0 down. What did he see in that first half to think that there was a chance of us clawing it back in the second half?
Cots likes to try and give people a chance to make up for what they've done. That historically, Cots has done that. So that's probably his reasoning. I can tell you now, Dan, that Davison was called back 5 minutes before he came on. He was called back from warming up to get on that pitch 5 minutes before he came on. What took so long to get him on, I don't know. But yeah, it's one of them. But unfortunately, yes, it should have been done at half time. But on the flip side of that, does that have a more detrimental effect on the players' confidence?
That's what I was going to say, Chris. I think you're spot on. I was talking to somebody a while ago, and their exact thing was the more you drag players off at half time, the more chance you've got of losing those players, because the reason being, it's evident to everybody that you're saying it's your fault, where maybe, just maybe, that was a reason why Cottrell left it 10, 15. You said Davison was getting ready 5 minutes before, so take that's 10 minutes into the second half. Maybe it was like, we're going to change it after 10 minutes, but X, Y, and Z will be coming off. But like I said, we go 3-0 down. Again, disappointing defending. It's another set piece. Obviously, Jordan Thomas loses his man, and then he obviously heads it in. But it's in that zonal marking, Chris, across that 6-yard box. Would you be expecting a Cundian or a Wealdstone to get on the end of that? Not your winger?
I mean, it depends on where they're set. I mean, generally the centre backs are in kind of in the middle of the goal, in a zonal system. Obviously, when it's man to man, they'll be on the man, so to speak. But yeah, it's just another pole goal.
Yeah, it was. So obviously, again, like I said, another poor goal to concede. Steve did make his first sub then. Like I said, we brought Davison on, was a little bit too late. But how do you think his debut went? He showed a bit of glimpses of, like, I thought, what
scored,
we need.
mate. I think he should have scored. He had 2 or 3 good chances. The diving header, I would expect that to be scored. But yeah, no, he looked good. He looked he looked like he can add. Him and Bickerstaff, with Bickerstaff in the 10, I think can be good. That's assuming we don't bring a number 10 in, and we can. I think that can work with Davison and Bickerstaff in the 10. But I don't want to see Archel Boyd on the wing again.
Yeah, I agree with what you're saying there. His movement was really good. I think saying he should have scored, I think it was a bit harsh, because he was...
I am probably being harsh, but he's had 3 chances in the 6-yard box. Yeah. I'd expect one of them to go in, personally.
The plus side, though, Chris, I thought his movement was good. He showed some...
Yeah. He got in the right positions. He got in the position to be able to miss 3 good chances. Well, I say good chances, 3 chances. So, yeah, no, movement looked really good. He looked sharp. So, yeah, hopefully he will add something to what we've already got.
Yeah, and the big one made me laugh through the game is when he went shoulder to shoulder with their centre half. and their centre half it pretty much ended on the byline. And I turned around to my wife and I was like, "That's what we effing need." Who's strong, who can do that, and he done that. Obviously, we had a couple of chances, like I said, between then and the end of the game. Like I think it was more that Accrington were happy to sit on the 3-0.
They had 3 goals. They knew they'd won the game. So they were just sitting back. Allowed us to
get
allowed us the ball. And said basically break us down.
Yeah, and that's exactly what I said. You know, I just see a lot of people saying, "Oh, we done this, we done that," and I was like, "No, Accrington got the 3rd goal. They was happy to sit on it. We got on the front foot because they said just break us down, but we did break them down.
They didn't need to play football anymore, did they? So
no, but we did break them down. And Jordan Thomas, his 6th goal of the season. Just running out of words for him. He was quiet yesterday, but it just shows he's got that bit of class. Great finish.
Look, it's a tremendous goal, absolutely tremendous goal. And I think Davidson got an assist for it. I'm not sure. I know Davidson knocked it down to it.
Yes. Yeah.
So there's a goal contribution already for Davidson. But he picks it up, he takes it past 2 or 3, and then just calmly slots it in.
Apart from the finish, it reminded me a little bit of a Ryan Giggs little run back in 1998. I
wouldn't go that far, but it was a good goal.
I'm giving him a bit too much credit there, but it was the way, like you said, the way he ran, he weaved in a couple. But the finish,
such a calm finish as well. By the way, it's not like he's tried levering it like you would expect from that distance. He's literally passed the ball into the net,
pressed into that corner. Sat right behind
Excellent finish.
Brilliant.
But Jordan Thomas is our worst player. If anyone else is
he's rubbish. He's going to end up at Gloucester City in a couple of seasons.
Boy.
You would really like him to. Anyway, so like I said, I'm not going to get too excited because we was on the front foot for the last 20 minutes. You know, Accrington still had 3 good chances second half, and they had to pull off 2 very good saves. So we were beaten by the better team, and that's all we got to say about that.
Yeah.
Would you say that was the worst performance under Cott so far?
Probably.
Yeah, you'd have to dig deep to try and find one worse than that, wouldn't you? Cott's thoughts after the game, and he said this goes in hand with the subs, Chris. He said he felt let down by his players. Now, we were 2-0 down at half-time. We drew 1-0 in the second half.
Mm-hmm.
So surely he's thinking we was let down by the players first half more than anything. So it just begs to differ why he didn't make those changes. Only Cott will know that. We know he's not keen on he's not keen on, making loads of subs, but sometimes I think, yesterday was one of those days he needs to do it. Probably only 3 or 4 who done okay, but not enough. I thought he's been very generous saying 3 or 4. Luke Young was decent, especially first half. I thought Luke Young broke a lot of the play up. I thought Stevenson went backwards a lot yesterday. Did you think that was the case?
Yeah, but I mean, his job isn't creative, though, is it? Let's be honest. His job is don't let them past you. Unfortunately, he let them past him a couple of times.
He's always been the one, though, he would break play up, but look for that pass. But he was going back.
He does try and play the ball forward normally. Was it passive yesterday? I'm not sure from him. I thought he was all right yesterday. I didn't think he was as good as he has been. But I don't think he was one of our worst players yesterday.
No. He goes on to talk about the transfer window. And
By the way, before we move on to that, I just wanted to mention Josh Martin as well. When he came on, I thought he was really good.
He had a good cameo. Yeah. I think if he improved the other side of his game, I think he'd be absolutely outstanding. But I can see why he doesn't start.
And Thomas needs to be on the left, not the right.
Yeah. But I think it's the natural thing now. Managers don't they like to play right footers on the left and left footers on the right so they can cut in. But he goes on to say about the transfer window. How did you read into this comment? He said we would not be paying a transfer fee this window. Does that tell you that maybe there's something in the summer where they may have targets where they might pay a transfer window? But he keeps reiterating it won't be paying one this window.
I think you're probably reading into that a little bit too much, Dan. Personally, what it means is we're not going to buy anyone this transfer window. Next transfer window, yes, by all means, but I don't think we've got players lined up already for the summer. We'll have lists, obviously, but
I beg to differ, because obviously this, Russ obviously is a chief scout. You got Keith Burt, obviously head of recruitment. They'll be looking at targets for the summer.
Look, they'll be looking at targets, yes,
Yeah.
but they won't have agreements in place or anything like that at this stage. I would be incredibly surprised if that was.
I wasn't insinuating that. Just more like I read a lot into messages, sort of thing, and in the way he keeps going, we won't be paying this window.
It's obvious we will next window. I think it's obvious we will pay transfer fees in the next window.
Yeah.
This coming summer is going to be a big turnaround. And if anyone thinks we're keeping 80% of what we've got, you're wrong.
No, I agree with that. I think we'll see a lot of movement in the summer, and a big rebuild. Because Cottrell hasn't come back to sit 18th in League Two. I can tell you that for nothing. He says the transfer window is probably one of the hardest windows. It's the weirdest windows he's operated in. He said a lot of clubs are not just not letting players out yet, and not giving answers. So they're basically saying maybe, and you're holding on to go, well, is there? He said it's probably going to be Monday. We'll get the answer on a few of those.
Yeah. Well, it is what it is. We've only got. Sorry.
When does the window end?
Tomorrow.
On Monday. Yeah.
So yeah, look, it is what it is. Monday could be busy, but yeah, I'm not one of these to speculate too much on things like that. I prefer to wait until it's actually happened, because it's all well and good. I mean, for example, Isaac Hutchinson wasn't in Bristol Rovers squad yesterday, and everyone's jumped on that, saying he's coming to Cheltenham. He's coming to Cheltenham. He's coming to Cheltenham.
That was my next question.
It's not. It's not guaranteed he'll be coming to Cheltenham, particularly if we're not paying a transfer fee in this window.
But if he doesn't,
so
come
it's
to
not
Cheltenham,
guaranteed. It'll be the only way he comes to Cheltenham in this window is back on loan.
Yeah, if he doesn't come to Cheltenham, he's staying at Bristol Rovers, because obviously
he can't play anywhere else.
But fingers crossed, it would be a massive boost if he did.
I'd love to have Hutch back. He is the missing link at the moment. I don't mind Cole Deeming, but he's not Isaac Hutchinson, unfortunately. He's not. He hasn't got the same attributes, and he does. And he showed yesterday he doesn't have that. He's not as good as Isaac Hutchinson. Basically,
he's going to be inconsistent, isn't he? Like
he's a kid. He's a kid. Bless him. And I'm not. Don't take this as me putting Cole Deeming down. I'm not at all. What I'm saying is he's not the same type of player as Isaac Hutchinson, and a player of Isaac Hutchinson's profile is what we need at the minute. We've got nothing else going forward. Yeah.
Well, it is a wait and see. Like I said, I'll absolutely love it if he walks through the door Monday, and he'll give the club a big boost, because it's no coincidence since Adelic and Archer and Hutchinson's left, we haven't won a game. And
last 6 games, the form guide. I was just looking at the form guide for all the teams. In the last 6 games, you're third bottom.
Yeah, one win in 6 now. So we do need to really turn that around, don't we?
Yeah, we need a winger and we need a 10, really. Bickerstaff could do the 10, I think. But I'm not sure Cots wants him there particularly, because he's not defensive minded enough.
No. Right, brilliant. Thanks, Chris. That is Cheltenham Town. Dave, let's go on to Gloucester City.
Chris immediately logs off.
It's got to get some water.
Oh, he's back. I'm being
Chris.
Professional.
Right. Good for you.
Dave, so we start off with Tuesday night when you went to Warner Hersham, the big idea in the game that it was maybe a chance.
Yeah, it was a massive game that I was going into with hope rather than expectation. Our away form hasn't been great. Bizarrely, especially on 3G, we're picking up worse results away on 3G than we are on grass, which is a bit bizarre, really. But yeah, I went there. Horrific night, bad traffic, got absolutely drenched. Strange old place, and it was a really even game. And another day it would have been 0-0. Or we had a couple of chances, but our keeper didn't have much to do. Neither did theirs. And then we just made an absolute howler in the second half. First half just sort of passed without too much to talk about, really. It was cagey, scrappy, horrible conditions, and both teams sort of cancelled each other out, really. But yeah, the goal just turned it, really. I said to somebody during the first half, I think this is going to just be one of those games where one goal decides it. And although it did finish 2, I think one goal did decide it, and it didn't go for us.
Yeah, you obviously in the opening stages of the game, it did seem quite a cagey affair. How did Daft set up for this?
He had three centre backs. We had the new, who continues to look excellent, Jamal Mohammed Robinson. Where'd I get that from? I always get Robinson and Mohammed mixed up. Jamal Mohammed, Bree, and Michael O'Regan centre backs, with wing backs, and Hanksy up top. I think. Yeah, for his preferred formation of wing backs and 3 centre backs, and we contained them quite well. They didn't grab many chances, and we probably definitely the first half an hour we edged it. We looked comfortable, and we probably looked marginally the better side, I'd say. But doesn't count for anything, does it?
No. Disappointingly, just before half time, Ed Williams had to go off, and judging by Daft's
yeah, it's a nasty one. Harry Emmett's out for the season from the last game, and I think Ed's going to be out for a period of time. So just as we're getting a few back, we're losing a few different ones, which is a bit of a pain, but it's the way it goes, isn't it?
Yeah, and into the second half, obviously you say about Walton taking the lead, and we talk about Cheltenham's Achilles heel of conceded earlier in half. Same for Gloucester, isn't it? 49 minutes on the clock, and you find yourself one a day now half time.
Yeah, and it's a bad goal to concede. Corner swung in. You've got 3 6'5" centre backs. One of their head guys get a head on it, and it just drops. And Ellis Watts, and I'm not going to slate him. We love him. He's won us far more points than he's ever lost us. But when the ball falls to you on the 6-yard area, you just put your foot through it, don't you? And he tried to control it and sort of run it out and lost it. And the ball ended up in the back of the net. Daft didn't seem very happy about that, but these things happen, don't they? That's his natural game. That's why we love him so much. He's a flair player, but there's areas that you probably shouldn't try and use that flair, and that's one of them. And we paid the price, and they're 1-0 up, and then the game's very different. What looked like I could see a 0-0 draw, then we had to get a goal, and we had to change the way we went.
Yeah, it obviously in a game like this, it was always going to be that first goal, and obviously the momentum then shifting to Walton getting that early goal must have been disappointing, Dave.
Yeah, it was very disappointing. The light of the fact that there's no cover, so you stood out in the torrential rain. My hat weighed about 4 stone by the end of the game. It was a pretty dreadful night, very miserable. And yeah, we had a couple of chances to get back into it, a couple of good ones, but couldn't convert any of them. And then we just conceded the sucker punch in injury time. With everybody thrown forward, kitchen sink. We've got nothing to lose at that stage, have you, really? You can salvage a point, or you can lose 2-0, and which doesn't make a huge amount of difference to the table. And it was the latter. We conceded, but you've got to give it a go. Yeah,
you had a penalty shout around about the air where like 2 City players got booked. Was it a penalty?
Yeah. I mean, if it was, to use the old cliche, if it was on the halfway line, it's a free kick every single time. The player's got his arm raised well up above his head and the ball hits his arm in the penalty area. To me, that's a penalty. but referee didn't give it, waved it away. So to be honest, they had a similar shout in the second half, and that wasn't given either. So I'm not going to blame the referee. I thought the referee didn't do much wrong apart from that, really.
But saying that, it seemed a very what was the game like, Dave? Because there seemed to be like quite a few bookings flying about. Was it a dirty game, or was it
No,
just?
I wouldn't say so. It was a bit horrible conditions on 3G. A few sort of just mistime challenges, but it wasn't a niggly, dirty game. I wouldn't have said at all.
Yeah. The one thing that surprised me, obviously, City had a couple of chances, like towards the last 12 minutes. I think O'Regan and Hanks both going close.
Yeah, Regan's was especially. It was like free header. He got three of his man, and from like 6 yards, he put it wide of the post. You know that moment where you're going up for the goal because you're convinced it's going in, and it just didn't hit the net. It went the wrong side of the post, so that would have made a big difference, but didn't go in.
Wild did come on with 5 minutes to go. Was that a bit surprising? Because he's one who seems to like make things happen for City, doesn't he?
He did when he first. I don't think we get the ball to him enough, really. I don't know. He hasn't looked. He hasn't looked. Whether that's from his performance or how we're using him or how much we're getting him into the game. But the last couple of games, he hasn't quite looked as dangerous as he did when he first broke into the team after his injury. So hopefully he'll come back. But yeah, it's one of those disappointing nights, really. Could have gone either way. I think, as you say, the first goal was absolutely vital, and they got it. And
was there any point in that game that you was thinking that City might grab the equaliser? I know because they you conceded the second, literally the last kick of the game.
Yeah, well, I mean, we had several decent chances. O'Regan's being the best of them. We could very easily have squared it up, but it wasn't to be.
Yeah. On the daft thoughts of Tuesday night, you said it was tough to take. Said very frustrating. Showed naivety in for the first goal, and you've touched on that, the fact that you maybe should just cleared it, but lost the ball. Apart from that, you thought City were outstanding other than the goal. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, we played some good stuff. Just couldn't get the ball in the back of the net. Kane Simpson was still unavailable due to his little pre-book sojourn abroad on holiday, which some fans are pretty peeved about. It's a tricky one, isn't it? It's not ideal. Far from ideal for your centre forward to go on holiday at such a vital period. But if when we had the chance to sign him, that was a prerequisite, and he said, "I'm not available for these games," which I believe he did, and we decided to sign him despite that, then what can you do? It's one of those things, isn't it?
Yeah.
I think we've missed him. He was. We'll talk about the next game in a moment, but he is back, and he was on the coach, but he wasn't in the squad, so I don't know why yesterday. But
okay.
He'll be back soon.
He obviously said the players were disappointed, as he felt deserved more. Obviously, we talked about Ed Williams, didn't look a good one. Said the fans were class, and again, travelling down there on a Tuesday night, fair play to him.
Somebody tweeted we took 12. Which is a bit bizarre because we had 30 odd on the coach, and there were loads of cars. I think we had about 60 odd there.
Still great.
Split between sort of about 30 of them went up in the covered stand and got at the back and made a right old racket all game. I was one of the stupid ones that just went behind the goals that we were shooting at and got absolutely drenched because there's no cover at either end. But yeah, we had good numbers there, and they made good noise. But it was all in vain.
Dave, I've got to bring it up because I find it quite amusing. As I was doing my analysis on your game at Wharton, I spotted the Cheltenham team coach in the background.
Yeah, I saw it. I was seeing your game yesterday, and I saw it parked in Accrington, and I was like, "Oh, I recognise that." Yeah, I mean, we've used it before. It isn't ideal. Like, some people get so cross about it, and I can totally understand where they're coming from, but you got to look at it from the club's point of view. And Colin or Jenny or whoever's booking the coach, we had a KB coach yesterday. We usually use KB coaches, but if they haven't got one available, we need a team coach to get to a game.
Yeah.
What are we going to do? We're going to go for the best price, the best deal we can get. It's Marchants, isn't it? The Marchants coach that's painted with Cheltenham Town livery. Do we want to be driving about in it? No, of course we don't. But if it's the best facilities inside the coach where the players are, and it's the best price and it's available, then you'd have to be like, it would take a big decision to go, no, we're going to go for an inferior coach and pay an extra 200 quid because the paint's different on the outside. Players don't give a monkeys. They can't see the outside of the coach when they're travelling down in comfort with a microwave and tables. And so, yeah, it's not ideal. I understand the furore from some City fans, but personally, I try to look at it from the club's point of view, and they've got to make a commercial decision and they've got to get the players there for the best.
That's it.
They've got to get the players to the game in the most comfortable manner possible for the cheapest price. And if that means going in a Cheltenham coach, then it's a necessary evil, I think.
Yeah,
that's my
that's
opinion anyway.
Because you work on the other side and you see all this, but
not anymore, but I have done. So I've used to arrange the coaches for the players and the supporters, and it's not an easy task, and it's a bloody expensive task.
It is.
Team coaches cost a lot more than fans coaches, and it's a big outlay for the club, and they got to get the best deal, whatever colour the coach is or whatever it says on the outside of it. The fans coach, we got a coach off Bayliss, and it had a big sign saying Matson Rugby Club in the sign, which we turned around because that was propped up. So at the end of the day, lots of different people use the same coach. I wish we had the finances and the ability to buy our own coach or have a deal with a coach company where we could have our coach sign painted. If ever we get ourselves out of this division and up a couple, then maybe that could happen. But at the moment, it's not the case, and we live by our means.
But like you said, you can see where the fans are coming from.
Of course I can.
I'd be the same if I turned up and I sent a team arriving on a Forest Green or a Gloucester City coach badge class. So I'd get it. But on the other side, it's like you said, it wasn't as if you had loads of options that night.
No,
and
obviously not, because we didn't use our normal supplier. So that tells you that they were scrabbling around trying to find a coach.
To be fair to Marchants could have gone, we've got quite a few coaches. We'll send one of the other ones rather than sending the Cheltenham Town team.
But I bet they haven't got one as nice with the facilities inside as that one. It's their premium one. Same as KB's premium one is a bloody Forest Green coach.
Yes. Yeah.
It is what it is, isn't it?
I put in the chat the other day because I was talking about it to someone else, and I said, if you want to be an adult about it, it's nothing. If you want to be a child about it, I get why the fans are going off.
But football does bring out the child in all of us, doesn't it?
Oh, of course it does. Of course it does.
When we bought our house, I had a Myra shower in the bathroom and it broke. And we shopped around for a new shower, and the best and cheapest one was a Myra shower. And I deliberately didn't buy it because they sponsored Cheltenham. So I'm childish too, but sometimes you just got to bite the bullet.
Of course you do. Of course you do. Chris, what did you find it a bit funny or?
Club uses a coach to take their players to a football match.
Yeah, soccer.
That's the story.
Yeah.
Don't care if they use our coach. If they're paying for it, fine.
It's not your coach, is it? It's Marchant's coach, you use it, so they've branded it for you to because it's good advertising for them, because it tells everybody that Cheltenham Town use Marchant, so it's advertising. That's all it is, isn't it? It's not like we borrow knocked on Cheltenham's door and said, "Can we borrow your coach?" It's like it's a coach company's coach. Hey,
if Gloucester are paying for it, then I've got absolutely no problem with it.
Oh no, I got no problem with it. I just find it funny. But being a football fan, I would be. I'd be the same.
I know.
When I was travelling home, soaking wet, I was pissed off because we'd lost. Excuse me. I was really irked that we'd lost the game 2-0, and I was far more miffed about that than what colour the coach was.
Exactly.
That's exactly it, mate.
I said to my wife, it's not only has it got CTFC with the badge all on the side, I said even the number plate is CTFC 10. But hey, it could give us a bit of a chuckle, Dave. The last comment for Daff, and it goes on to yesterday's game. He said obviously that the players are down and they were feeling disappointed. It was important, wasn't it, after that defeat? Because obviously after that game, you would have probably definitely thrown the towel in terms of winning the league.
Yeah, I think so. To be honest, like, if we'd have won on Tuesday, we could have gone 7 points behind them. Would have
And
given us a better chance, but are we going to make 7 points up on them? I mean, if you look at, I don't know if any of you are sad enough to do it, but on football web pages, they do like a predicted finish where they predict all the leagues. And I look at it after each game just out of interest, and they've got Walton Hersham winning the league by like 25 points, and it wouldn't surprise me if they're not too far wrong, to be honest. So I don't think we'll catch them. I think we're in a three-way scrap for second, third, fourth. I don't think we'll drop out of the playoffs, but our form needs to pick up. But it will. We're on a bad run of form, but it won't. It will turn. Of course it will. We're a decent side. We've proved that this season. We wouldn't be where we are. So got another big game coming up. And then, let's talk about the other one we had before I start talking about one we haven't had yet.
So you had Sholing yesterday away. How did you see the game, Dave? Apart from
I didn't. I listened to it. We had a bit of a disaster all round yesterday. I organised a minibus which I couldn't travel on because my son lives 15 minutes away from Sholing, so we were driving down with family and dropping wife and little one off there, and I was going to go to the football. First of all, everybody arrived to the minibus at Meadow Park and it had a flat tyre, which so all the people who'd arrived in cars had to get back in their cars, and the people who'd arrived on foot got into cars. And thank you to everybody who bore the strain and made sure everybody who turned up for the minibus got to the game. I arrived at Winchester, just down the road, got out, had a cup of tea, got back in the car. My car wouldn't start because the start-stop button had broken. So I had to call the AA, and by the time they'd come out and literally replaced the fuse, because I'm such a numpty and I'm so crap at anything vaguely practical that most of you boys would have probably just sorted it out in 5 minutes yourselves. But I had to rely on the AA because I'm fit. And I missed the game. So I ended up sitting there watching the Cheltenham game with the volume off and listening to the Gloucester City game. So I'm in a similar position to yourselves. But
Dave Jones
I've seen some bits back. So
it was a bit like a Dave Jones Soccer Saturday, was it, Dave?
it was a bit of a disaster of a Saturday, yeah. Would have been worse if it wasn't for KP.
City nearly take the lead though. Hit the post in the 11th minute. Good.
Yeah, I haven't seen the clip of that yet, but apparently it's quite a tight angle. But yeah, King Badu struck it well, and it came back off the upright. So that would have been an ideal start, but wasn't.
Yeah, I just touched on then, said it was important for City not to let Tuesday get into their head, because this was obviously a big game. Sholing, they're sitting and just outside the playoffs. They're the one piece in the pack. What sort of first half was it, Dave? It didn't seem like a lot happened in the first half.
Didn't sound like a lot happened in the first half, did it? To be honest, I don't think we played. It didn't sound like we played too bad. It sounded quite even. But yeah, it was 0-0 at half time. That's about as much as I can tell you, to be honest.
As much as I got as well.
Yeah.
But into the second half, it was a bit of a heart in the make moment for Jared. He kind of fumbles the ball, but luckily it drops onto the top of the net. He doesn't make many mistakes, Dave, does he?
He hasn't lately. He had a bit of a clanger in him early in the season, and I was one of the ones questioning. Hold my hands up. I was questioning. Is he our number one? Do we need to get better? But I firmly put me in my place. He's been fantastic, saving penalties left, right, and centre. And again yesterday, a bit of a fumble apparently, but he also sounds like he made a fantastic save for a ball at the far post. That their player came in and had the goal at his mercy, and Jared saved us at 1-0. So that would have been game over, you'd say, if that had gone in. So he's played a big part in winning us a point yesterday. And yeah, I'm a big fan now. I've changed my mind, as we are all entitled to do.
Well, we always say, don't we, that a striker can miss 2 or 3 chances and you can still win 1-0. Keeper makes a mistake in 9
Yeah, my one thing about Jared is that he doesn't really command his box when the balls are played in corners and stuff. You see a lot of keepers, like the Walton keeper on Tuesday. They come out and claim everything. He's not that kind of keeper. He tends to stay on his line. He's a fantastic shot stopper, and he's fantastic with his feet, which is, I think, a big attribute that Daff looks for, because the way he likes the football to be played. But if there's one downside to Thompson's game, I think it is commanding of the area. And but it's the age old thing, isn't it? If a keeper at the level we play at was a fantastic shot stopper, great with his feet and commanded his area, bottom line, he wouldn't be playing in the Southern League Prem, would he? So every player, whether at keeper or centre forward, is going to have some bits of their game that aren't maybe weaknesses. It's just the way it is. If they didn't have them, then we wouldn't have them. So,
am I correct in saying he's not the tallest of goalkeepers, is he?
He's not like lanky tall, but he's I'd say 6 foot. Yeah, he's not 6'1". He's not small, but he's not like a giant.
They say sometimes, don't they? Because I started off
with fantastic pedigree. I mean, he was like he was in the you see the team sheet of the like under 21s England, and he was like in the same team as like Reece James, and so he's a good keeper. He's an excellent keeper, but
I know it's different kind of levels, but I started off playing in goals, and I was at Sinford under 18s, and I can always remember the coach saying to me, because I'm 6 foot, and he would so say that because of my height, 6 foot's tall, but I wasn't 6 foot then, but because of my height, he used to say, you command that 6-yard box. He said, leave your defenders to command the rest, because obviously you're coming up against defenders who are 6'2", 6'3".
Well, our three centre backs are 6'5", all three of them. So
yeah. So to be in the goalkeepers union, I can see probably why he doesn't command the area, because you can get
maybe he's told not to. Who knows? I'm not party to that information, but if I was going to level any criticism, that would be my criticism of him. But he's certainly done well for us this season, so I've got no complaints with Jordan.
Yeah. Again, the second half didn't really. It seemed to follow suit from the first half, Dave. But in the 72nd minute, they take the lead. It must have been art in May's moment, considering, like I said, they are the chasing pack.
Yeah. It was a kick the cat moment. Listening to the radio, you always feel so helpless, don't you? You don't exactly know what's happened, but you always know when there's a big cheer, because there's more home fans and away fans, that it's not good news. And 1-0 down, and you think, like, you start had a quick glance at the table, and you start thinking, oh Christ. And we really, really needed an equaliser, because although a winner would have been good, not letting them catch us at all, and also with the other results, Walton were losing in the FA Trophy, but Farnham were called off. But Gosport and Poole both got beat 2-0. So actually, if we could have if we're going to score that goal and get a point, we've actually put ourselves a point better off than we were in that quest for second. So we really needed it.
Well, you did get that equaliser, 7 minutes added on, and Kieran Phillips again pops on the.
A player called Dan Wishart. I don't know if you've come across the name. I think he might have played. Football League, but he came to us on trial at some stage. Big centre back, and he looked quite decent when he was on trial with us, but it never happened. And he was playing for them yesterday, and a bit of a disaster for him. He's picked the ball up and played it back he was sort of slightly further forward, and played it back to the other centre back, but hit it woefully short. And Kieran Phillips nipped in and surged past the centre back and finished like he used to, and hopefully he's back to that, because he was always a clinical finisher, and be lovely to see him back to his best. And he stuck it in, and we got the point that we.
He played for us needed. In League Two, I think.
Did he?
Yeah,
that's it. Yeah,
Forest promoted.
Yeah,
I think he had one season in the Football League.
As you said, Dave, huge goal. It keeps Sholing at bay. Like I said, I saw your comment on X to Weymouth saying if you could do us a favour, and they done that for you, didn't they?
They did. They're top of the form table. They've amazing when new managers come in, and that was my favourite away day this season. I mean, we won 3-0, which was nice, because it was when at the start of the season when they were pretty dreadful. But what a great ground they've got! Big ground, great setup. they were such nice people. They really treated us well down there. So sort of quite glad to see they've got out of the mire. But yeah, they've been flying lately. They've beaten Walton and Hersham. Now they've beaten Poole. So, and we've got them on Saturday, but at home, thankfully.
Yes. Well, that's it's quite a localish derby, isn't it, Poole, Weymouth?
Yeah. They I think it was quite a decent crowd there, but it's not too far away.
I must say that seeing that they've now recovered Weymouth, I'm glad, because as you said at the beginning of the season, Dave, they're a big club at this level, aren't they? And they are. Yeah, they're pretty much like Gloucester.
Great facilities. I'd kill for their ground.
Yeah, we drove around because we go on holiday down there every September. We just go for a week, and I've driven around the ground a couple of times, and it's a National League South North ground, isn't it? Kind of,
if not higher than that, I'd say. I mean, they've got steep banked terraces all the way around, great big stand. It's a cracking ground. That's what grounds are all about for me. To be able to have, I'm not a sitter, I'm a stander, and to be able to stand on a decent banked terrace and get an atmosphere going, covered at both ends, it's like that's what I dream of City having. But I'm glad to see them getting out of it. But hopefully they have a little off day on Saturday.
Yes, it will be a decent game. On the Daft's thoughts, you said good first half and a good away performance. Because one thing I've noticed with Daft lately, and like I said, the form's not been the best for City. There's a couple of games he's seen beat, hasn't he, or tired. I always say when a manager looks tired, with some of his comments seem very tired in terms of like maybe repeating herself, Dave.
Well, as long as he keeps repeating himself less than Robbie, I think we'll let him off.
He said it started the second half poorly. He said credit to Phillips for a great goal. Away form isn't good at the minute. He said no, in fact, he said it's awful. That's got to change, Dave, hasn't it?
It has. We've got Gosport on Wednesday. Another tough game of a team that's breathing down our necks. We really, really need to pick up 3 points there and move into Saturday at home. And then did the run of really tough games eases off a little bit. Not that there's any such thing as an easy game, but when I looked at the fixtures going forward, I saw this little run with like Walton and Gosport and Sholing all away. So we've got 6 away games in 33 days. In this period, so it's always going to be a tough period. If we can come out of this and still be handily placed with a few home games, we just need to get a run going. Really, we just need to, because our away form isn't the best, and going to the end of the season, I'm pretty sure we will be in the playoffs, and that finishing second is just so important. And I think it's a 3-way scrap. I can't see anybody else apart from us, Farnham and Poole, in those second, third, fourth places, and finishing second guarantees you a home semi and a home final if you get to it. So yeah, I can't say how important it is. So we really need to get that form back.
Yeah, I'm just looking at the table now, and like I said, it shows how much of a big resource it was getting that equaliser at Sholing, because obviously now they're 5 points behind you, having played a game more. But apart from Farnham and obviously Walton, they're out on their own. But apart from Farnham, Gloucester have played pretty much the same amount of games as everybody else. So that's a positive as well, isn't it?
Yeah. We've got Poole coming up away. That's a huge game. If we can beat Poole away, well, we've got a game in hand on them, haven't we? So I think if we win our game in hand, we'll go above them and on the same thing. So then if we could then beat them away, that would set us up nicely to be. If we just need to get rid of one of them, and then if we can get rid of Poole out of the equation, then it's all down to Farnham and how they do in their games in hand that are racking up, because they've had a few off lately. So
yeah,
we all know it's not easy having. They have lots of games in hand, and they start having to play lots of games in a short period of time. Every club's capable of dropping points, so that's what we've got to hope happens.
Yeah, just finishing off, Dave. And there was a positive, obviously a negative. He says that Harry Emmett, obviously now out for the season, and Ed looks like it's going to be a long one too. Obviously, that's going to be it's disappointing for City because you was just getting all your players back, wasn't you?
Yeah. But getting Kieran Thomas back coming on yesterday is I can't stress enough how massive that is. Our team captain, solid right back who gets forward. If we just need him to stay fit, and that really does make me feel a lot more like our back five is a lot more solid with him in it. So that's great news.
Yeah, he's a good player. Like I said to you before, I think he should have had a chance in the Football League. But obviously positive for you. Anyway, thanks, Dave. That's Gloucester City. We've now got Sean with us. Good morning, Sean. Thanks for coming on, mate. I know you've been on nights. These guys
Dragging yourself out your pit.
These guys are not letting you off, mate. But I was a bit more kinder. So they said you should have been able to straight from work onto the pod. So Sean, we'll go on to Forest Green Rovers. Before the game, it was announced that Neil Newport had passed away aged 77. He is an avid Forest Green fan and was watching them from the age of 5 and going on to play for the club from 1964 to 1970 before breaking his leg and having to retire. All at Talk of the County podcast send our condolences to Neil's family and everyone at Forest Green Rovers. It seemed a bit of a sad day, Sean.
Yeah, it was. I'm glad you mentioned it actually because it was the applause went out really well. Everyone, including Wealdstone fans, took part in it. But yeah, he was a good guy. I used to speak to him quite a lot. I used to pick his grandson up from school. I used to chat to him down at school. He was always quite positive, and he was. He went to every game. You could go on to the supporters coach, and he was on there, and always have a chat to him on there. Though I didn't see him at a game for ages, and I kept asking about him, and then all of a sudden I found out that he'd obviously passed away, so it's quite sad. Rest in peace to Neil. Great guy, and a big loss, really.
Yeah, and like I said, all of us here, send our condolences to his family, friends, and everyone at Forest Green. And yes, it is always sad. Let's go on into the week, Sean. In the week, Isaac Moore was recalled by Coventry. Done okay for you, 6 goal involvements since being at Rovers. I see you put on X that he dropped out of the first team a little bit. But was it a good loan spell? Was you disappointed to see him go back?
I guess so. He ain't a bad player. Thought he'd done all right. I think, obviously Robbie explained in his one of his interviews before. Obviously, you can only have 5 in a match day squad, and he seems to be one of them that was taking the hit a little bit. Seems to have a good head on his shoulders. So I think he'd do all right. I think he might end up getting another loan. I think he was probably a little bit of both. I don't think we could guarantee him the game time that maybe Coventry wanted, so they ended up recalling him. So he may go out on loan again, but he'd be a good player for someone, definitely.
Yeah. Into the game, we said about Gloucester City should have had a penalty. Do you think you should have had a penalty after 8 minutes?
I thought so, but apparently not. From where I was sat, no. I think I'm talking about a different incident. Actually, I'm talking about one in the second half.
This is very early on. There was big shit, but it was waved away by the referee. But quite surprisingly, Wealdstone started applying some pressure on Rovers, and they took the lead for Baldwin. Not what you've been hoping for, Sean.
Yeah. I feel bad for Gabe because it was his man that he lost him from a corner. But in all fairness, I thought he actually had quite a good game. Obviously, he was the new signing from that Welsh team.
Yeah.
Thought he looked all right. I felt a bit sorry for him. He just didn't quite, he lost his man and nodded it in, really. So yeah, it was a bit disappointing. But
the thing is, that's his debut for Rovers, isn't it? And it's taken him a bit to get up to speed.
Yeah, but to be fair, he looked good. I mean, I think it was just before that goal.
Magnificent.
You could sort of see him. He's not. I don't want to say aggressive, but he looked like he was getting stuck in, like quite well, and he comes out with the ball. He looks like he's going to be quite a decent defender. As it is, he obviously lost his man from the corner, who obviously nodded it in. So, like I said, you take that away. I thought he was one of our better players yesterday, which
says so.
Wouldn't have taken a lot, to be fair.
But
I thought him and Woko did all right.
Yeah, the game. Just sometimes when I'm analysing games after, there's bits of like Rovers and whoever you're playing, but you had a corner, and this is going to be disappointing as well. Luckily, it didn't result to a goal, but you had a corner, they counter attack, and Kadji fires over, but it's probably easier for him to score.
Thought that was 2-0. I don't know how he missed, but obviously he did. So I thought that might turn our fortunes a little bit, and we might go on to get some out of the game. Obviously, it didn't end up like that at all. So I think Robbie said about it. Yeah, they could have won by a few more.
Yeah, on the way back from Accrington yesterday, we stopped at McDonald's for Cora, and so I was obviously there sitting through looking through X as we were waiting. And some of the comments I've seen, Sean, was, and we talk about it all the time. Do you think Rovers are too open? Some of your fans are starting to say that we're too open on the turnover.
A little bit, yeah. I think I've said it a couple of times. It's a tough one because we always seem. I think we change too much and we change too quickly at times as well. Formations and subs and things like that. I feel like a bit of a broken record, but I think we're desperate for like Ryan Innes, just someone at the back to try and get a bit of stability. But we've been a bit unlucky because he's obviously been injured, like
when's
for
he
a
back?
long period of time twice.
When's he due back?
I think it's 3 weeks. I think. I'm not 100% sure.
Right to the end of your monster run in February.
Yeah, I was hoping he was going to be back, obviously, sort of before, but that's the way it's going to go. Hopefully, Gabe settles. Like I said, after yesterday, that might help him. Might have been a good game for him to come in on. But yeah, we are. There doesn't seem to be. We just can't. I don't know. We just keep conceding silly goals.
Yeah. Rower's first chance coming in the 34th minute. Real chance. Babalola and the keeper saved. Sean, including yourself, there's been quite a few critics of Babalola. I've openly said over the last couple of weeks that I think I've overpraised him because of his size. But he does miss quite a few chances. Why do you think that is? Do you think that's the step up's too much, or do you think he's still trying to find his feet in the National League? Or
I think it might be too much for him stepping up into the National League. I reckon my fridge freezer could do better.
Didn't see that coming.
Nah. No, I don't.
You're
want to be
offering him
horrible
to
to
Gloucester
the lad.
City earlier on.
I don't want to be horrible to that. That was only a joke.
I think you just were, so.
Yeah, no, that was only a
You're
joke.
comparing a striker to a fridge freezer. You can't get a lot more.
Yeah,
You
no, I don't know.
you'll hear on Tuesday night against Woking, get a bloody move your fridge freezer.
Robbie's not going to be happy with that, by the way.
No, I don't know. At the moment, he don't seem to be doing anything. Like he hasn't got a first touch. He ain't holding the ball up. He keeps he was against Scunthorpe. He didn't hold the ball up. They pinched it off us, and they go and score. Yesterday, I felt a few times he didn't hold the ball up. He had like a first time shot at one point, and I think it probably nearly landed at Gloucester's ground. Like, I just don't know. Like, I don't know. You're not
keen, are
really
you?
Got any other striker apart from obviously Reece? He was obviously cup tied.
Not anymore.
Deutsch was obviously on the radio again yesterday.
That's the baffling one for me, Sean.
It is. I mean, Robbie sees him every day, doesn't he?
That's true.
I don't like to comment too much. Obviously, I know I've seen a lot of people comment. Like I said, it's easy to sit there and say, Deutsch should be starting or Mitchell should be starting. Robbie sees him every day in training. He obviously sees something that we all don't. When he has played, he looks like he has struggled. His legs don't seem to be there. It's an odd one. I don't really know. Like I said, I haven't.
There was a comment
because I don't see him.
There was a comment in Robbie's post match, and he does say that it's my side out there. So and I get this from a manager. So Robbie's come in. He's obviously wanted to put his own side together, because you put your own side together, you trust those 11. If you're playing players who played and who was brought in by the previous manager, you might think, have they got some loyalties towards him? Are they going to put it in? But the one thing with Deutsch, you can't have that, because Deutsch was there before. He was there way before Cottrell. He was there in your League Two season, obviously, and it went off. So, but he's got an affiliation with the club, hasn't he? So he's probably a player you could trust.
Yeah, I don't think it's like a trust or a loyalty issue. I just genuinely think like with how we're trying to play, I don't know if Robbie sees him fitting in. Like I said, he's tried him a couple of times, and it hasn't quite happened. I think it was it against Scunthorpe or something? There was uproar because he was on commentary
for the Accrington
games ago, and then he got played in the squad. Came on, I think, and didn't really have much of an impact. Like I said, I don't think he's got the legs. But then, like I said, would he be a better option than Babalona? I don't know. I mean, let's see what happens. He might get given an opportunity on Tuesday.
Yeah, and just before halftime, obviously Harry Oisted makes a save. To keep it at 1-0, but obviously disappointing first half. So into the second half, Sean, Robbie does what Robbie does, and he's made a couple of changes. And I'm not knocking it, because I wanted Steve Cottrell to do it yesterday. Clark and Bunker for Knowles and Morrison at halftime. One thing that stood out, that's twice now in his early part of his Rovers career that Morrison's gone off at halftime. Is there any concern on his defensive side, Sean? Because against Altrincham, he was very open. Was that the case yesterday on the left-hand side?
Yeah, I guess. He's a young lad in from Bristol City. It's probably his first senior loan. It's probably not quite started maybe as he would have liked. But again, yeah, we might improve. It's just that's
You're
the
going to
problem.
compare
Is
him to a kitchen
I think we
appliance?
brought in a few players of late.
Microwave?
No, I think we've brought in a few players of late, and then it's kind of like you're trying to like get them all in, and like we've got Mengi, Morrison, Gabe. They all started yesterday. So again, it's 3 new players in a back 4, like who haven't really played together as such. So I think it's tough because you're trying to integrate them probably quicker than maybe he would like, just because of our form.
Yeah. You did have the ball in the net, Jilly Biabu. Right decision, offside?
Yeah. Absolute nightmare, that bloke.
You know when it's been a bad day, Sean's actually agreeing with the decisions.
To be fair, I don't think the ref actually done that much wrong yesterday. But Gilly was an absolute nightmare. He was offside every single ball. Every time someone passed him the ball, he was offside. At one point, I thought he was stood in the car park.
God, he's banging him out today, isn't he?
Honestly, mate, he was. It was really winding everyone up. I think he's looking along the line. You shouldn't be offside. You can maybe accept the odd one or whatever, but he was offside every single time. I thought he was probably still parking his car, getting the ball played to him.
Like I say, it was a funny day. Like I say, because as you can quite imagine, I was sat at Accrington thinking I'm dreading tomorrow's pod. And then when I go, I'll check to see if Forest Green again on it, because I thought Sean's being very quiet in the group considering we was.
Do you know what? I saw it was 1-0 to Accrington, and I thought I'm going to lay off it a minute because it was still really early in the game, and I'm glad I did, because then we went 1-0 down. And then the lad next to me was like, Cheltenham's losing 2-0 now. And then I was like, great. But obviously we still hadn't scored. And so, yeah, I had to, I just laid off the chat yesterday.
Well, then you say 2-0, then there was a bit of early pressure from Rovers in the second half. And it always seems to be the case when Robbie's obviously changed the formation or made the changes at half time. But then on the hour, Rovers go 2-0 down, Olamola scoring. Most people, including me, would have been shocked, Sean, because it is like I've said to you. I think, judging by how many teams have rested players in this competition, I think everybody was expecting Rovers to go on and get to the final.
Obviously, Scunthorpe got knocked out yesterday. I think Southend's still in it. Robbie wanted, it was a competition that Robbie actually wanted to, try and win. Went strong, strong as we could. I'd probably say that's got to be one of the worst performances I've seen this season. And I think he covered it in his interview after the game. I just don't know what's changed, because you go back to the earlier pods and we were playing really attacking football. We were having chances left, right, and centre, and I kept coming on here going, I don't know how we didn't win. And now it's like yesterday, that was the complete opposite.
Yeah, but it did get worse, because in stoppage time they get a third goal, and
I missed that. I had to leave. I left 5 minutes early because I had to get to work. So I missed that goal.
It was a great start to your 12-hour shift, show when you got to work, considering it was
yeah, well, I was a bit gutted I didn't leave about an hour early. But no, but all joking aside, I always planned to leave the game early, whether we was winning, drawing or losing.
But you had to get to work, didn't you?
I had to get to work, so...
the first thing I did when I said it went 3-0, I thought, what was their starting lineup? And when I said it was your strongest bar Reece, it was your strongest lineup. I was honestly shocked. Absolutely.
Yeah, he's been pretty open about it, and he said all through it he wants to go strong. He wants to try and win it. I just honestly, like, I don't know what's happened. Yesterday, that performance was nothing of what we've seen this season. I don't know. Sometimes, like I said to you, we seem to be a little bit erratic when we concede a goal. You know, we change formation, and I think yesterday we started at 4 at the back, and then we sort of went 3 at the back, then went back to a 4 at the back, and I don't know if the players are getting somewhat confused by the constant changing. I don't see whether there's no like sort of like continuity or whatever of just playing, and then when it's not going for you, just sticking with something. I don't know. I guess that would be a question we could probably ask Robbie next time we speak to him.
Well, here's a question for you. And again, this is not a dig at you, Robbie. This is just a general question. It's an outside view. Obviously, I listened to his pre-match, his post-match press conferences. And the one before the game is the one which got me asking this question. He's always very open in the way he's going to play. He'll say, we're setting up 4-4-2. Gilly's going to play here. Is he doing a lot of the own work for the manager? Because I'm pretty sure that the opposition will look at those videos and go, look, they're actually setting up 4-4-2. Do you think that maybe if Robbie kept a bit of that to himself and get your opposition guessing? Because if you're going to change a few formations in the game, that's fine. But if like say the assistant manager for Wealdstone turns around and goes, oh, just in Robbie's pre-match before the game, they're setting up 4-4-2 and Gilly's going to be playing here and Knowles is going to be playing there. Do you think maybe you would want your manager just keep, maybe going forward just to keep that to himself because being a bit too open?
Maybe. I guess I think a lot of managers, they sort of, they believe in what they're doing, and if you've got a good side, I guess you feel like it doesn't matter. You're going to go and play your game and beat them.
But what I'm saying is in the game.
I know what you're saying. I don't know. I mean, Robbie, he's well experienced in the game. He's commentated and saw a lot of football from top down to the bottom now. I mean,
you just don't see a lot of managers. You don't see a lot of managers, do you, come out and say what they're going to set up before the game? They're talking about players.
You might be right. You might be right.
And like I said, that's not a dig at Robbie. I'm just saying, maybe going forward for Rovers, would it be better if Robbie goes to talks to the press because he's got a good relationship with them and he's always open and bubbly before the game, but maybe that's the sort of thing he goes, I'm not going to tell you my side because I want the opposition to guess what we're going to be doing in the game. They might have to change that, but they're going to set up knowing you're going to go definitely.
I guess the only way we'd know is obviously by it happening, isn't it? So just, I guess, yeah. I don't really know how to answer that.
If Robbie doesn't give out his formation in the next game and he's listening to this pod, he agrees with me. If he does the same, he's saying, Danny, shut up. I'll do what I want.
It's going to be the latter, isn't it, really?
Yeah. So obviously on to Robbie's thoughts. Not acceptable. Didn't disappointing for you, David. Didn't start with magnificent. Not acceptable. He did say it's my group of players. And then obviously I've asked about the open bit. Said it could have been 5 or 6, take nothing away from them. That was quite refreshing to hear because a lot of managers when they're disappointed and they can be a bit bitter and say this, but he was like they fully deserved it. 5 or 6 it could have been.
Yeah. To be fair, he's always pretty honest, but I mean, I guess in some ways when we've sort of played okay and he said it, you always get that sort of. You always get people saying that you are bitter, but yeah, no. I mean, he was like everything he said yesterday. I did kind of agree with a lot of it. Like I said, I don't know what's happened to us because we're not playing quite as attacking as we were earlier on in the season. And yesterday, I think, everyone was a little bit gutted. But I think sometimes when you step back and you look at the bigger picture, we have brought in a lot of players in through the season, and not all of them have probably paid off.
Here's a question for you, Sean. One comment Robbie said was the players were going out late to warm up, and I had to call them back in because standards are slipping. And he mentioned that was on the training ground as well. That was an interesting.
Yeah. Obviously, I'm not sure what he's getting at there. But I was quite surprised to hear that. So yeah, hopefully that almost had a bit of a Troy Deeney bit of a remark to it, didn't it?
I don't think it was that bad.
No, I don't mean the way he slated thingy, but Troy Deeney was saying it about the standards at the club.
Yeah, I thought with Troy Deeney's comment, I thought it was a bit more nasty. Where
that one particular bit, but I'm sure previous to that comment, there was a similar comment about the standard at the club, like with the players. That's what I'm getting at with that. I mean, I was quite surprised to hear that.
Yeah, but he's being open with it, and again, I think it's refreshing. It's refreshing to see a man, but you're going to get people who's going to jump on that, and they're going to be saying, "So, what's happened at the training ground? Why did they go out too early?" He's obviously addressed it. He's brought them back in, but do you think that maybe again you've gone a different way in your recruitment, haven't you? At Forest Green, you've not gone higher and brought in. You're bringing players in around you or below you. Do you think, Sean, that it might be the case that some of these players are not used to being, I know we have our banter and saying at Forest Green are not a big club and all that, but in terms of like your setup, you are a big club in terms of, your training facilities, your full-time professionals and the staff you've got. Do you think some of these players have come in and they're like, I've only gone, up a level, or I'm coming in the same level, and they're maybe trying to the right way to put this. Maybe they're looking at it and going, well, I don't need to up my standards that much because it's only the National League, but the difference in expectation at Forest Green is different than what it is at a Wealdstone or Altrincham.
I think he said something on that, didn't he, about Dale's giving them all the facilities, the travel, like all that sort of stuff. I don't know. I just think as a footballer, but whatever level you come from, you're playing at a level for a reason. Whether you're coming up and you're trying to prove yourself, or whether you're dropping down and you're trying to sort of get back up. But hopefully, whatever it is, gets sorted, because you don't want anything causing a rift away from the game, like training and things like that.
But again, this is to be interesting to get your thoughts on this. Obviously, the Rovers have got a big squad, and obviously, there's a lot of players there. Rob has got his team, and don't get me wrong, I am 100% certain Rob is trying to get players out the door, which is natural. But because you haven't managed to get certain players out the door, do you think that could be playing a massive part in the form players? Because after a while, there's only so many times you can say to a player, "You're parting with plans, but keep working hard." Then they don't get that chance. Then they start moping around the place. It can be more bad than it can be good for you. Do you think that could be a part?
Yeah, I think there's players obviously at the club that they don't want to be at the club, but they're obviously refusing to go. You don't need. I ain't going to mention any names.
No.
Thing is, he was quite honest at the start of. I think he was quite honest in the summer when he came in. He did say he was going to have a sit down, a chat to the players, and he was going to let them know, if they were part of his plans or not. So I think there is a thing there where we do just need, but I don't think that clear out is going to happen until the summer.
Yeah.
At the earliest. So we've just got to just keep doing what we're doing. Hopefully, like you said, improve standards slightly at the training ground as a team. And you just got to keep going. Obviously, we're in a tough moment. I think what people need, like I think you said it yesterday, that was Robbie's first back-to-back loss, wasn't it, or something?
Yeah, as a manager,
You've got to remember, he's still learning as well, and he'll be probably trying to find out a lot more about himself now because he's probably not had this.
Not just about himself,
he's still learning to try and get out of it.
Yeah, not just about himself. He'll find out more about his team now, who's with him and who's not, and that's the big thing for a manager.
That is, I was about to say, yeah, that is the big thing. Like he said, I think he said it in his interview after the game. He's given his players as much information as he can to try and help them. But all you can really do is just keep working. It is slightly worrying with the form we've been in because, like I said, a lot of the games that we've dropped points in, you'd like to think we'd be winning.
That's the games you expect, yeah.
And we have got this horrible run coming up. I think starting Saturday. Obviously, to be fair, actually starting Tuesday because I think Woking are in good form, if I remember rightly.
Yeah. The big question is Sean. He had a brilliant time at Mac. Major part in the revolution of that club. Had a brilliant start at Bristol Rovers, Forest Green Rovers. As a brilliant start at Rovers. But it's probably his toughest time of his managerial career now, and like you just said, he's probably going to find a lot more about himself.
Yeah, I think what people need to realise. I was chatting to someone last night, and I think what people need to realise is he's brought in a whole new squad who, in some way, probably needed to gel together. Young players, so obviously there isn't bags of experience in it. But I think, it's been said a couple of times, you've got your York and Borehamwood and even your Scunthorpes, and they've been together for a couple of years now. And I think what Rob has obviously said, like the remit from Dale was to bring in, a young, dynamic, exciting sort of attacking football. And obviously, I think there was a few comments last night about, getting experience back in the squad. We're not going to go out and buy experience. It's just not going to happen. Obviously, the experienced players that we do have at the club, obviously, some of them are injured. Like I said, the thing with Deutsch, he obviously sees him more than we do. But I think the way he's probably looking at it is, we're not desperate. Obviously, we'd like to go up. You don't play football because you don't want to go up. But I think this year the players are going to gain valuable experience, and then he's probably looking at, into next season, it'll be a young squad, but a bit more of an experienced squad. So I think they're just trying to do it a different way. And if we don't go up, it'd be disappointing. I think Robbie, I think I said it to you last night. He put a lot of pressure on himself. There wasn't the expectation from Dale wasn't we had to go up this season. It was like that or nothing. I think Robbie sort of put that pressure onto himself, and like you said, and now he's probably learning about himself, and he's never had it, so he's trying to find a way out of it. So, I guess we got to just keep going.
Well, it's watch this space. It's going to be an interesting February. Right. Thanks, Sean. That's Forest Green Rovers. That's Forest Green Rovers. Let's stick with you, Sean, and let's go to scores on the doors.
Next up is Talk of the County's Prediction League and Scores on the Doors by Sean Baker.
It's pretty bad week all round, really. Obviously, Cheltenham Gillingham was off, so I've kept the scores down there. I guess are we just going to use the same scores for the next game, or are we going to repick?
We'll probably repick. Yeah.
Okay. I did keep them down just in case, but so yeah. Accrington, I got a point. I predicted 1-0. Dan, you had a draw. Dave had a draw, and Chris had a Cheltenham win. And then FJV Wealdstone, I had a win. Dan had a win. Dave had a draw. And Chris had a Wealdstone win, so we got a point.
I'm Chris.
Again, Walton, Hersham, and Gloucester. It was just Chris who got a point for that one. He went for a 4-1 win for Walton. Dave went for his famous 1-1 again.
Yeah, it came up trumps. It came up trumps in one game.
Me and Dan went obviously for a Gloucester win, and pretty much the same as Sholing. Chris went for a 2-1. Dave went 1-1, so we got a point.
I got what?
You got a
What
point.
did I get? Why did I get a point for 1-1? It was 1-1.
3
Oh,
points.
I thought it was 2-2. Sorry.
No, 1-1.
What is that?
Yeah.
Yeah, sorry, Dave.
I think so too.
That puts you top of the table then. So, yeah. Dave, you're on 47. I'm on 45. Dan's on 43. And Chris is sneaking up there in the old back door.
As he likes. Backdoor man.
Backdoor man. That's what I said.
That better not stick. Jesus.
He was cut adrift, and now he's coming in. Like I said, there's a long way to go. But yeah, well done. Let's go on to this week's games then. So start off with Cheltenham at their own MK Dons. There's been 14 head-to-head appearances between the two clubs. Games between the two clubs. Cheltenham have only won 2. MK Dons have won 8. There's been 4 draws. Last time out was a 5-0 loss in August. I don't see a lot changing. But Chris, your thoughts and predictions?
Yeah, we're going to lose. I don't think it'll be as heavy as the last time we played them. I think it'll probably be... We're going to want to tighten up that defence. I'm going to go 2-1. Defeat.
Okay. Sean?
Yeah, I can't see Cheltenham getting anything out of this. I was actually looking at the form table last night, and you're third in your last 6 games. You're third from bottom. You're only ahead of Tranmere and Harrogate. I might go 3-0 MK Dons.
Dave?
3-1 MK Dons.
That's exactly what I was going to go for. 3-1 MK Dons. Right, let's go on to the midweek. Forest Green Rovers are at home to Woking. There's been 26 head-to-head games. Forest Green have won 8. Woking have won 12. There's been 6 draws. Last time out was a 2-0 win in September. You said that they were in form, Sean. What's your thoughts and predictions?
Yeah, it's going to be a tough game. Obviously, I think our form's not been great. Their form, I think they've been in quite good form. Going to be a tough game. 2-0 Forest Green. We're going to turn it round. Keep a clean sheet.
Chris?
2-1 Forest Green.
Dave?
1-1.
1-1. So me and Dave are not going to be gaming on Dave, right? On to the weekend.
Are you not doing a prediction there, Dan?
Yeah,
I said 1-1.
He said 1-1.
Oh, did you?
Yeah.
Can I change mine?
No, not there. Not there. We've gone around the board. I've gone the same with Dave on both, so I'm not going to gain on him.
For the record, I wanted to change it to 0-0.
Oh, that's a brave one. That's a brave one.
Well, to be fair,
I think you should be able to change it. To be honest.
we can let him change it.
Yeah,
Did you have a draw? Did you?
Because you know what's going to happen now. It'll be what you said before.
I did say Forest Green 2-1 up win.
If Chris is going for a Forest Green clean sheet, mate, we're changing it.
Yeah, 0-0 it is then.
The scores on the doors, chairman, is overruled. There you go, Chris. You got it. On to the weekend.
I'm gonna.
If it's 2-1 now, I'm gonna be fuming.
So you've gone from 2-1 to
0-0.
0-0.
Yep.
Wow. Right. Okay.
Well, I reckon there's going to be changes, so that's why I think we're going to win.
So let's go on to on Saturday. You make the trip to York, which is a massive game. In terms not just for maybe clawing York back, but Robbie mentioned about looking over the shoulder. Like I said, it's a tough month for you. Head to head, there's been 25 games. 21 games. York have won 8. Forest Green have won 6. There's been 7 draws. Scores and predictions, Sean.
Oh yeah. I cannot see anything out of this game. They are scoring goals for fun. This is horrible. I might just have to go 3-0 York. I think that's the first time this season I've bet I've gone against us.
No confidence in Mr. Savage. That is.
I'm hoping reverse psychology in it. If I put a loss, we might win. So I'm gonna have to go 3-0 York.
Chris.
York City 4, Forest Green Rovers 2.
I had a feeling you was going to go that. Dave?
3-1 York.
Oh my God.
That's how you're going to get. Just copy me, mate. Just copy me.
3-1 York. Yeah, I could go. I think we've all gone for that. Forest Green loss on the weekend, but it's like I said. I said to you, Sean, this might play in your hands playing against the better sides, but
yeah, it might do.
Anyway, I forgot to say it was 1-1 in September.
Problem is, it's just scary with how many goals they're scoring.
Yeah,
I think they scored something like 75 or 76 now. I think.
Yeah, they are. They're in banging form. Gloucester City play at home to Weymouth, as you said, Dave.
Gosport on Wednesday.
Gosport as well, yeah.
I'd miss that one out.
Yeah, Wednesday, not Tuesday. So that's what tricked you.
That's what's tricked me out. I've gone for the Tuesday thing. What was the score the last time out, Dave?
Not a clue.
Oh, so it's a massive game on there. Is that away?
Yeah.
Right. So, okay. So Gloucester, that's my fault. I've looked at the Tuesday fixtures, not the Wednesday. So Gloucester have got Gosport on Wednesday. Dave, scores and predictions.
They go 2-1 City.
Chris?
2-1 Gosport.
Sean?
Oh no, hang on. Sorry. Just trying to write these down. I might go 1-1.
Yeah, that's why I'm going to go with 1-1. I'm not going to copy you on this one, Dave.
I let my heart rule my head there a little bit, to be honest.
Let's go on to Gloucester versus Weymouth, which is on Saturday. Last time it was 3-0. There's been one head-to-head. Gloucester have won once. Weymouth won then. It was 3-0 in September. Your favourite away day, Dave, as you've alluded to. Your scores, your thoughts and predictions.
Really, it's be a really tough game. They're banging form. But at home, we're just such a different animal. We should have Kieran Thomas available, Ellis, Pinchy, Simpson. I'm going to go 3-1 City win.
3-1 City win. Chris?
3-1 City win.
Sean?
3-1 City win.
I'm going to go with a 2-1 win for Weymouth. Just because you, like I said, the form they're in, Dave.
Yeah, they are in great form. Just relying on us.
And I was just looking there,
back.
they haven't got to play midweek either, have they?
No.
So they're going to have a fresh week. And, 2-1. Right, brilliant. That's a good place to leave it.
We got under 2 hours. Look at that.
Under 2 hours.
Look at us.
Good job. Gillingham was called off.
Well, yeah.
Sean, thanks for getting yourself out of bed. Come on, mate.
Yeah,
Go back,
cheers, boys. Sorry. Apologies, I was late.
Chris, thanks as always, mate, and nice to see you in your new setup.
Thanks, gents.
And Dave, as always, thank you.
Cheers.
Give us a follow on X, Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram. On a weekend where Cheltenham were cut open by Stanley, Rovers were a stone throw away from Wembley, but are now bow out, and City leave it late to save a point, but eyes fully now on the playoffs. See you next time.